And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of What's Going On Here. Thank you very much for joining us. We have a very special episode tonight. We're very excited. For those of you on YouTube, you'll see there's something different. We have a girl with us. So anyway, my name is Tomo Lovrick, as you might already know if you heard our show before, also known as T-Love in giant ice cube circles. And with me, as always, I have the British pride, the man from across the pond, the young, the pajama-laden Mr. Sean Quigley, or the Quig, as he's known in fire pit building circles. Sean, how are you, sir? How's everything today?
Yeah, I'm very good. I'm very comfortable, as you have laid out in my introduction. I'm wearing my finest Hanukkah pajamas. That was gifted to me a year ago, or we have family pajama gifts for Hanukkah, where we all have matching pajamas. And this is a very comfy top, and I like it a lot, but I do not wear the bottom half, the pants, because they are MC Hammer Hanukkah pants. They are my wife. She was just like, I don't know, what are you, like an extra large or something? It's very strange. They're flowing in the wind, like it is the strangest, most. It's like this person is very much flaunting this religious holiday via their flappy trousers. I was like, nice. And I'm not even Jewish, so it's just really, it's too much.
It's extra. Okay, yeah. All right, fair enough. And then with us, as always, we have the young one, the one that makes our show like 33% watchable. Because before that, I mean, we have Sean and I have faces for radio, genitals for the zoo, and not because of the size. That's something else, could be completely else. But with us, as always, we have the young, the handsome, the very dashing young Mr. Andrew Albagees, or AA, as he's known in cave spelunking circles. How are you, Mr. Andrew? What's going on tonight?
Not much. I'm good. Yeah, just excited to do another episode. And cave spelunking. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the damnedest thing, isn't it? You keep hitting me with these things. I can't come up with anything clever. This is a thing now. I think Tomo's trying to hit me with something I just can't come up with on the spot on these episodes. But cave spelunking. The only thing that comes to mind is in Batman Begins. Remember, in Batman Begins, he's like,
that's right.
That was like his alibi for why he had all these bruises and stuff.
That's right, because he was cave spelunking all the time. That's right.
So you're calling me Batman?
Sure, why not? I don't.
All right.
Just as long as nobody eats you, nobody gets COVID, we're okay.
I just love the idea of Andrew being so confused with the intros every week. It just makes me think of like a strange sort of sketch situation where there's a man who keeps attending an improv class, but he thinks it's an AA meeting. There's just like, I don't get it. Every week, these guys just keep throwing out these crazy things at me, and it changes all the time. They're really prepared for it. I'm not. It's like I have sad stories about my childhood, and I'm really trying to get them out.
And here's the special part of our show today. We have with us a magnificent woman. She is a writer, a comedian, and an actress from Cape May, New Jersey, for those of you that don't know. She's a co-host of the nationally trending Twitter storytelling chat, Blurred Dating. And for those of you that don't know, or are too damn white to know, blurred means black nerd, okay? All right. Her blog, Hollie Harper Inc., is on Medium, has top writer status in parenting, Black Lives Matter, and racism. She's very racist. You might not want to read that. She's the creator of the popular sketch comedy show American Candy. And this is a great sketch troupe. If you've never seen it, they have played the comic strip, Gotham Comedy Club, Bam Cafe, as well as the Chicago Sketch Comedy Festival. And they are currently, the team is working on editing a pilot they shot last winter. Time Out Chicago named them one of the 5 groups to watch in terms of comedy, sketch comedy troupes. And she's a regular host for the West Side Comedy Club. And she's been able to pivot nicely and hosted 3 smash 3 smash shows for them on Zoom. I haven't even started drinking it. This is going to be awful. And as an actress, she has starred off Broadway before the whole COVID thing hit in a production of Melanie Maria Goudreau's The White Blacks. And she works with Gold Comedy and Stand Up Girls, 2 programs that empower young women by teaching them stand-up comedy. This is a class. Thank you for joining us. For the people who don't know the show and are just tuning in, what we do is we talk about something in the popular zeitgeist and try to figure out what's going on with it, subjects, movies, things like that. And we also, the important thing, review drinks. And today, because Holly was so gracious to join us, Lady's choice was Dewar's Scotch Whisky.
Oh, yes.
This is a lovely Scotch out of Perthshire, Scotland, by John Dewar Sons. And I'm sure I butchered the name of the town and they're all going to kill me later. But anyway, this is what we're having, people, today. We're going to try this and review it towards the end, give it our out of 5, give it our best grades. And
so yummy.
I have mine with a giant ice cube. Gents, do you guys have yours ready to go?
I have mine like this because I'm a shady mom.
That's okay. That's right. Well, here we go, folks. Cheers, Holly, once again.
Cheers.
Wait a minute. Sean didn't do the.
Oh.
Give us a glug for the listeners. That's a very quiet glug. All right.
Quiet.
That's right. All right.
Not your fault.
No, that's not his fault. All right, cheers, folks. Let's have a sip and enjoy the show.
So for the record, Holly, you are already my favorite guest that we've ever had on this show. And I'll tell you why.
Oh.
Because typically when we do the show, at least lately in these COVID times, we're all running around to our various grocery stores, liquor stores, finding a beer or something to drink. And for whatever reason, when you're on the show, Tomo just arrives at my door the day before and just gives me a bottle of scotch. So
it's true. Well, it was Holly's choice, so at the very least, I could provide Holly with some booze.
Thank you.
Yes, at the very least. But just to put her through this, she needs some freaking booze just to be with us here. 1, 2, this is a gift for Holly. You 2 guys, I'm expecting favors. All right? You guys.
This is awesome. Like, where were you when I was in labor? Like, where is this? This is what I needed.
That would have definitely helped. So let's just jump right into our topics. And today what we decided to do for our topic is basically the delays of everything entertainment, right? Movies are getting pushed back. Broadway's been pushed back till June 2021. The big 3 movies, and Holly, you probably gathered this already. We're all nerds. We're all cinephiles. We love our movies, and what Sean's not saying underneath the Hanukkah pajamas is Batman underwear. 007 is delayed, pushed till April of 21st, right? Of 21. Dune is delayed until October of 21. Black Widow is delayed until May of 21. Pixar Soul is moving to Disney Plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tenet bombed, even though it looked like it would have been a really good Christopher Nolan movie.
So sad.
What was that? I didn't even know that.
Tenet was a movie with what's his face? John Washington, Denzel's son.
Oh.
Right.
Really?
Yeah, the Christopher Nolan
I did hear about that.
Yes.
Look at me. Denzel is so fine. I even checked for his son. I'm like, what's your kid doing? Does he look like you? What's he doing? You got some cousins? What's going on?
He plays football. Is he in shape? What's going on here?
This fall's Denzel's second cousin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with all the craziness and all the COVID going on, and Holly, you're actually a really good person to have, and it's one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on the show, as somebody who produces live theater, comedy, hosts West Comedy Club. How do you? I mean, what was the pivot like when you do the Zoom shows? Is it better? Is it worse? I mean, what's going on?
Well, let me tell you, when the world shut down, because that's what I call it. I call it when the world shut down. I remember it was March 14th. Okay, and I was in an off-Broadway show. It was my first first and only off-Broadway show. I was so excited, and we shut down on a Saturday. We were supposed to go through to Sunday, but we couldn't even shut down. We had 16 people in the cast, and they were trying to drop out. And it was crazy because some of us were treating them like, why are you dropping out for the flu? But let me tell you, the last day we did our show, I was on a train, and I realized I was the only person without a mask. And I was like, oh, snap, this is real. Because, before that, we had only seen masks in Chinatown. Like, that's the only time we were seeing masks. But so basically, the comedy clubs have shut down. And they're starting to close. Like Dangerfield Comedy Club closed today. Did it? Today or yesterday morning, they shut down. They've been there since 1969. Open by Rodney Dangerfield.
Right.
Rodney Dangerfield. That's over. They don't want, you can't do comedy nowhere legal. Like you have to sneak out in the park and do stuff on rooftops or whatever. Right. It's horrible. There's about 500,000 people in New York City, if not more, that are employed between the clubs, the cabarets, Broadway, ballet, American theater, the Albert Alley.
Yeah.
All of it.
All of it,
ballet, everything. Boom, 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 shut down. And that affects everything from rehearsal studios to seamstresses to ushers to people who make the friggin' popcorn in the movie theater. Like it affects everybody. And honestly, I feel as if right now we are all feeling the effect of bad leadership. In the beginning, it was like coronavirus. Now this is Trump's virus. And so honestly, I feel like we're at this point where film and TV, I think, are going to be changed for a while. They're going to be changed for a while. And I don't know right now it seems like there's not enough money for a lot of people to produce what they need to produce. Like you guys heard about the TV shows, they got renewed and then they got canceled because of COVID.
Right.
Like they got renewed and then they were like, we can't pay for you with COVID.
Right.
So this is really messing up a lot of people that should be on right now. I don't know what's going to come of it. I feel like when we get new leadership, God willing, I don't know how y'all feel. I know how I feel. I don't
care. Toma, you didn't tell her that this is this is primarily a QAnon-based podcast.
We all getting something different tonight. Something different tonight, honey.
When we're not,
different show tonight.
Before we started doing the headphones thing, Sean normally has his MAGA hat on while we're recording this.
There was a dude at my CrossFit that had the MAGA hat right after the election, and they tried to tee me up with him for some kind of workout. I was like, hell to no.
Nope. That's a big no. That's a big negatory, good buddy. No, thank you.
No, it was crazy because he's Jewish, and I was like, you want me to put on some swastikas and you can wear the MAGA? We can roll this out. He was like, yeah, same energy. You know what I mean? Hashtag same, right? But so I just feel like right now the entertainment industry is shuffling, honey. They are scared. Either they're shooting overseas, either they have more than enough money to take Mission Impossible 145 to Sweden or whatever, or else you've gotten shut down.
Right.
This is us, or you ain't doing it.
Well, I mean, first, I'm glad you brought that up, especially with New York City, because I believe after finance and the arts are like the two biggest employers in New York City. So, banks, Wall Street, that, and right after them is literally entertainment.
Yeah.
Broadway movies, all of that. So it's just one of those things. It's been screwed up so bad. But what I don't get is why these studios are confused. Because you've seen what's his face is doing. Open up the giant studio down in Georgia.
Tyler Perry. He's doing The Bubble.
It's the simplest thing. He built a studio. He's like, okay, there's a production going. These are your places where you're going to sleep and eat. Everybody gets tested every day, and we're shooting stuff and making money. And it's just like, That's it. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
The only problem with that, and the only issue that comes in are like indie movies or the smaller budget ones just don't have the means to do that.
Right.
Obviously, like, the things that went back to filming, Mission Impossible, Jurassic World, some of those other ones were all these big budget movies, and they're spending significantly more than they were already set to spend on these movies. But these studios can do it, whereas a small independent movie, they're either on hold or they're just winging it and hoping nobody gets sick because they don't have the means to test everybody. They can't house everybody and kind of keep them in this bubble.
One thing about Tyler Perry is that I don't know if you guys know, but like he's in Georgia, which is a work for hire. He's not dealing with any kind of union. So
I did not know that.
When Tyler Perry writes a show, he has no team of writers. He writes the show.
Right.
So he doesn't have to deal with all these writers. And so have you seen his studio in Georgia?
That's
enormous.
enormous.
It's like a whole town.
It is. It's totally a whole town.
Y'all know he could fit all 5 Hollywood studios inside his studio and still have room for another studio.
Yeah. Because he went somewhere where real estate is inexpensive and he went crazy. And it's like, yeah.
Well, Hollywood slept on that black church money. They slept on that.
Yeah.
When he came out with his first film, Diary of a Mad Black Woman, in 2004? Yeah, 2004. He came out with Diary of a Mad Black Woman. It was at some studio, and they were trying to push him to cast all these other people, and he was like, no. And he was like, look, I'm coming over right now. And they were like, to apologize and go our way. He's like, no, to get my shit.
I'm done.
And he shot it all with his own money. Hollywood slept on that black church money. He slept on that. So now he's got all the cash.
I was going to say they covered that beautifully when Tom Hanks was on SNL and they did Black Jeopardy. And they were talking, and he had the MAGA hat on.
Yeah.
Yard, and they did the whole thing, and he's like, I love me some Tyler Perry movies because, anytime I could get entertained and pray in the same hour, that's money well spent.
If I can laugh and pray in an hour, that's money well spent.
That's right. All right, Doug. Yeah.
Like, you don't even have to go to church anymore. Be like, isn't God everywhere, really? I said thank you in the bathroom. Come on now. I said thank you. Thank you. We're good. Okay.
Exactly. So, I mean, to me, it's just one of those things. It's like, it's so, how hard would it be for all these studios to do the same? It's like, come on, man. You literally have closed lots.
Well, it's like the old studio system. I wonder if it would go back to that old studio system where they have, it was back in the 40s and the 50s, where you have a studio, they have their actors, and they have more than retainer. And they're like, here, doll, here's your per diem. We're shooting a cowboy flick tomorrow. Get yourself,
Well, back in the day when film first started, they were just like plays on film. You know what I mean? Like Betty Davis, she shot 9 movies in 1 year.
Yeah. It wasn't even that long ago because Harrison Ford was a studio actor when he first started.
Oh, I didn't know that.
This was in the late 60s, early 70s. And he said he used to get paid $300 a month. And there was some big studio head. I remember the story. Some big studio head he was in some movie and he was he played a bellhop. It was one of these, he's on screen for 2 seconds and he's done.
Okay.
And he's looking for whoever it was. And the studio head's yelling at him and telling him, you're supposed to be a fucking star, kid. And he's like, no, I'm supposed to be a bellhop. And the guy kicked him out of the studio because he talked back to him. He was like, get the hell out of here. I don't want to see you again. But he was a studio actor for, like I said, $300, $500 a month.
Wow. I feel like now that studio, We Own You, has been replaced by agencies, because it's something like CAA or whatever. You'll see a movie where they're all represented by the same agent, the director, all the actors, everybody. So I kind of feel like the agents have replaced the studios.
Yeah. Pretty much. I
mean, I don't know how. Would they do a bubble on the soundstage, on the lot somewhere?
What do you mean?
If they do a bubble, how Tyler Perry did a bubble? I just wonder how they would do the bubble.
Yeah, the studio is acres of property, and just you do it the same way. You get everybody tested, and I guess, set up some trailers for people and
do it like the Olympic Games, like Olympic Village style. Like you just build like an Olympic village next to a studio. They're like, you all live here. You know.
I wonder too, though. Do you think studios are holding off on doing any of that? Like, take I don't know who we want to talk about. Take Disney, right? Who's holding Black Widow right now? Mm-hmm. Are they going to invest that in production on a new movie before they've even had the chance to release this? Because then they've got another movie that they're just sitting on, and they have to keep delaying and delaying and delaying. You know, like are they waiting until, say, Black Widow hits theaters and everything seems good to kind of then get everything rolling in motion the way it used to be, or whatever it might be? I don't know.
I'll tell you one thing though. I feel like a couple of things can happen. I feel like number one, let us not get new leadership. Hold on, just give me a second to like deal with that for a second. Because honey, I was a crying ass woman in November 2016. Like my children were like, "Is Mama okay? Like,
is she okay?
I lost my goddamn mind. Like I really was. I lost my mind. But what I'm saying is, let us go on with bullshit leadership. Hollywood gonna start getting bubbles. Do you know what I mean? Because they're gonna be like, if we're gonna be dealing with this dude, we're gonna have to look out for each other. Because obviously, if there's no national plan, we're just gonna have to get our own plan. I don't know. They're gonna be out in Oakland. I don't know where they're gonna be, but that's one. And number two, I feel like if Hollywood keeps on with like delaying everything, delaying, you see how Netflix has so much international stuff. I feel like this is an opportunity for other people to sneak Hollywood.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, y'all not doing it, we're the big dogs now.
Sure.
So I kind of feel like, we already lost on the education front. God damn it. Like, we can't lose Hollywood too. My black ass just got here. I can't.
It's true.
I can't. Like, no, you can't. We got to do something.
Yeah.
So I think bubbles, when you say, that's not a far off idea.
I think there's a strange irony to the situation that I think hopefully when Trump loses, I think the first thing he does is set up his own production company with the biggest bubble in the world and make Trump Network, where he is the star of 100 apprentices in every TV show, and he runs the whole joint like he's the president.
But that was the whole story came out about two years ago that somebody did it. They said he didn't want to be president. That's why they said, like, when he won, like, Melania like broke down in tears, and she didn't want to be part of the election, none of that shit. And the idea was for him to basically build up this wave of right-wing just anger and conservative anger, and then cash it in and start his own studio and just make tons of money.
And he got fired from The Apprentice. That was like directly off the back of him getting fired from The Apprentice is when he decided, I'll just be the president then. That'll show him.
You know how I'm so mad at Mark Burnett. This is all Mark. This is fucking Roma Downey's fault. Touched by that goddamn angel.
Yep.
Fucking Roma Downey, married to Mark Burnett. Yep. Got him The Apprentice.
Yep.
And Mark Burnett, and like, look at me. Like, he's so powerful. He can have me killed in my sleep. But like Mark Burnett and Roma Downey, but
it would be on TV.
Right?
We'd be voting for it.
But like, they are those Christian evangelicals. Like, they are that, and that's a whole nother disease. I don't even understand that shit. Like, I don't get it, because Jesus was black and poor, so I don't really get it. I don't know why. Like, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, Mark Burnett is what brought him up. Like, Trump was on his way out when Mark Burnett lifted him up. So I could see if after the election, if he wants to make shitty movies, fine. I don't care.
Oh, you know what that means, Sean. See, what we used to do, Hollywood, what we used to do on the show, we changed the format a little bit, but what we used to do is watch movies, but we only used to watch the middle 20 minutes.
Oh.
And try to figure out what's going on. And more often than not, we try to watch a foreign language movie and turn off the subtitles and try to figure out what's going on. But the movies the pattern started repeating itself, so we changed the format to just talk about what's going on right now. There was a movie called was it China Salesman? Do you remember, Sean?
Yeah, China Salesman. Yeah,
China Salesman. There was a movie.
Not China Syndrome. China Salesman.
No, China Salesman.
Okay.
And it was a Chinese-made movie where they go to Africa and they're the saviors of Africa because China's literally throwing so much money into Africa. And in this movie was Mike Tyson and Steven Seagal.
All right, right away. You said Steven Seagal. I was like, oh my God.
So I totally see Trump making these movies with Steven Seagal and Mike Tyson and Ice Cube. Now I hear what the fuck's going on with Ice Cube?
Ice Cube's working with him.
Ice Cube fell and bumped his head. Ice Cube fell and bumped his head. He fell and he bumped his head. I'm sorry. I refuse. He fell. He bumped his head. His wife is handling it. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna handle it. Because I don't. No boy is not going out like this. No, I refuse.
You've got this weird situation where Eminem is anti-Trump, and then Ice Cube is pro-Trump, and you're like, what the fuck happened? Like,
right. What's going on here? Yeah.
Ice Cube is screwing up. I think it's
he just woke up and said today is a good day. He didn't even have to fire his AK. And so
Mama didn't cook no pork, no swine.
No pork, no swine in breakfast. It's a good day. Absolutely.
I never forget when I saw that video, I was like, shit, that's a good day? Okay, I'm sorry.
Which,
I'm sorry, I was raised Huxtable without the rape. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Nice.
I'm from the burbs. I don't know what you're talking about.
By the way, I really have to tell you guys something important. Did you hear the warning from the CDC?
Wait, CDC.
CDC, yeah.
As if the CBC has some shit to say, but go ahead.
CVS. Did you
ACDC?
from CVS? ACDC, CVS have warnings. Yes,
What?
ACDC, yeah.
Going on a farewell tour?
Yes, CDC had a warning that older people should not have oral sex.
Stop.
Because
Why?
Because you catch COVID if you eat old bat. Oh.
You bitch! You bitch! They be like, old kielbasa doesn't age well. Old kielbasa doesn't age well.
You just got to dry it and smoke it. That's all you got to do.
Come on now. Ain't nobody trying to catch that old Frankenbeans. Get out of here. Come on now.
Let me tell you something. I see the young guys, they don't know, but I always tell them, like, wait till you start hitting your 40s and things start sagging a little bit. Like Andrew right now, he's got that muffin attack going on.
That's shit, they just dropped. They just dropped a second ago.
In another 20 years, I fully expect to be able to take my sack and throw it over my shoulder and I'll have titty balls because that's what I fully expect to happen to me in 20 years. Yeah.
I never forget when I knew I was getting older. My daughter was like 2 or 3 and I was getting dressed in front of her. Because you can't really leave babies alone, like when they're real small. Right. And she goes, Mama, when I'm a lady, I want to have boobies just like yours. And I was like, oh. She's like, just not as hangy. I was like.
Kids are brutal.
I had a Corona at 10 a.m. after that shit. I was like,
yes, I know.
It's time.
So, I mean, and that was the other thing with the whole COVID thing. Pattinson got COVID, didn't he? And they had to stop Batman shooting.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, Robert Pattinson?
Yeah.
And that's one of the productions that they went back, and I don't know that they're exactly doing a bubble, but they're testing everyone and all of that.
Sure.
They tested him, and he was positive, and so they shut down for 2 weeks.
Are they shooting in the UK, like Pinewood or something like that?
I don't know, actually. I want to say it's in the U.S., actually.
Or Toronto.
Let me see if I can look it up.
Maybe Toronto.
Every time I see Robert Pattinson, I just think of Twilight and his little pale face and the posters of Twilight, and I'm like, is he okay? Like
Twilight was just so bad. I mean, it just the whole thing with the glowing in the light, and as like, of course, the message that's lost here, like in these things. Twilight was basically about a kid toucher. Because I don't care if it looked like he...
Wow.
Well, think about it. He looked like a high school kid, but he was 115 years old, and he just wanted to screw high school girls.
That's true. That's true.
That
is true.
That is creepy. Because, I mean, if you saw Ralph Macchio with a high school girl, you'd be like, oh, there's two high school... No, Ralph Macchio's fucking 60 years old. He shouldn't be anywhere near this girl. But this motherfucker's 115, and he's like, oh, hey, do you know what I'm thinking? I got a sausage for you. Wait, here, bite this. Get out of here.
And I've never seen the movies, but he's a vampire, I think. So, right?
Stop it. Stop. Those people who I can't stand those movies where people never age. I'm like, fuck you. Like, I'll never forget when I watched The Age of Adaline with Blake Lively. It took me 4 times to get through the movie. 4 times I kept starting the movie because I was like, oh, she's this pretty bitch that stops aging at 28. I feel so sorry for her. I'd be like, this hoe gets to fuck every generation that comes along. And looks good, you know what I'm saying? Then she fucked Harrison Ford, then she was fucking his son. I was just like, I can't feel sorry for this bitch.
Now,
it was like her daughter got old. She was like, oh, my daughter's old. I was like, whatever, bitch.
Now, what's the rules on that? I mean, is that considered double dipping? If you
that's just dipping. That's just dipping.
That movie is highly scientific. I don't know if you've seen it, Tomo, but there is some wonderful science in The Age of Adaline.
I'm sure.
They have a great moment. The premise, I don't know if you remember this, Holly. Do you remember how she doesn't age?
Some lightning shit, some kind of lightning.
Oh, yeah. So what it is, perfect. And it's very unlike the rest of the movie. So it sort of begins, and it begins kind of like the beginning of a Twilight Zone episode, where they're like, it's a dark night. And this woman is driving on the road. And you're like, okay, this doesn't seem like the trailers. What's this all about? And it's like, and she loses control of her car. And it's all like Vincent Price and kind of like, And then she like falls in and she goes in the car, in the water, in the lake or the sea or whatever the fuck. And it's like, and you see her trying to get out. And he's like, but she didn't get out. But what did happen is that the water was so cold that before her heart stopped and her brain turned off, it froze. Hypothermia froze.
It froze her pretty ass.
It froze her pretty ass. But the exact second that her heart was frozen and her brain was about to die, lightning came out of the sky and it struck the car, Frankenstein style, and it shocked her back to life. But because her heart was frozen,
she wouldn't age.
All the cells in your body that age thought she was like dead and stopped aging. And that's the science.
This movie pissed me 4 ways off, okay? First of all, this pretty bitch never even went through a fat phase. This hoe never got fat. She never even got a fucking eye jammy. You know what I'm saying? Like, she never had a bad haircut. This bitch never caught an STD. I was like, fuck her. She never had some Me Too shit happen. Like, nothing. Nothing happened to this bitch. The worst thing that happened was the one that got away. She just fucked somebody else. I was like, and then she gets to be Blake fucking Lively. I was like, I want to see a fat bitch go through 400 years. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I want to see a fat bitch go through 400 years.
That would be an amazing spoof to make that with Jack Black, just eating fucking donuts the whole time.
Stop it.
Just Jack Black, just like, you know what? The donuts in the 60s were way better. They used actual lard. Way better. Way better.
She never even was othered in any situation. Even when she was wearing clothing that was a little too old, they were just like, oh, retro. Get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry.
She would get found out pretty quickly. She was going to these swanky like parties with the young people, and they'd have just been like, oh, you know, it said, oh, have you met Sanjeev, the new head of marketing? And she'd have just been like,
who's what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, oh, hello, Sanjeev. And you'd be like, what the fuck is going on with this? She's a young Blake Lively. She's been like,
you're right. They would have busted her ass on just all the racist shit she would have dropped. Like, what are the colored folks doing here? Like,
I know, right? She would have been at a party in 1985, been like, isn't that nigga gonna pick that shit up? Like, she would have been like, I don't understand why I'm getting hit at at this party, why are the color folks hitting people? Like, no, that shit never happened. She was never racist. She never got an SC. Fuck her. I was like, this is bullshit. Like, come on now.
Condoms? What are those?
She never even had regular people problems.
No.
Like, every woman goes through a bad haircut at least once. That shit is called growth. That's called growth.
That's the thing. When the lightning struck, everything turned to antifreeze, and the hair just stayed in the perfect style. Right?
Science.
She never even had split ends.
Science.
She never.
Listen, it's the best science. They had the best scientists. They're the bigliest scientists. They were the best. That's all you need to know. It's
and how this bitch have highlights 100 years ago. She had balayage, like highlights from like 100, like Sally Hershberger, who gave Meg Ryan her signature haircut, cut her hair, and gave her her highlights. I was like, what in the hell? I was mad. It took me 4 times to get through this movie because I was like, girl, you're going to watch this movie. Because I have to admit, I really do like Blake Lively. I do. I think she's a very good actress. Okay. When I saw that movie, The Town, I was like, all right. I was like, all right, that little pretty bitch can act. All right now. All right, girl, I see you, Blake. I see you. She's good. She's a damn good actress. But I wasn't feeling sorry for her ass. She could have got hit by a train. I would have been like, well, you had 115 years, bitch. What you want? What you want?
When the COVID came around, if it had stayed for COVID and it tested for antibodies, they'd be like, you've got antibodies for like cholera, polio, like what the fuck?
Like, bitch had Spanish flu antibodies.
That's right.
She had Spanish flu.
Like, that's what would have happened, scientifically speaking. That bitch would have spread smallpox all over the world.
She had plague antibodies. She probably fucked Thomas Jefferson. You know what I'm saying? Like, she been here for a minute.
Yes.
They would have just hooked her up to, like, she would have been used as a personal presidential, like, blood transfusion.
Thank you.
Like, they'd just be like, get the blood from the 150-year-old Blake Lively experiment. Till we got going on. She's the best. She's got the best old young blood. I get all my young old blood from Blake Lively.
I get all my old young blood. It's the best. She's got blood of the likes that no one's ever seen before.
That's right.
By the likes that no one's ever seen. You know, they tell me. They say she has the best blood. They say she has the best blood.
I pump it directly into Melania. I just go, Melania's sleeping. I pump it straight into Blake Lively, straight about.
Honey, talking about Melania, that time that Trump said Melania has a kid, that was my favorite moment. Remember that shit? When he was like anti-vaping before the vaping companies were like, don't fuck us. He was like, vaping is a problem. And my wife, Melania, she has a kid. Our kid. I was like...
You talk about vampires. His kid, that Baron Trump, that is a child vampire if ever I've seen one. Whenever I see him, I'm like, that kid, that's a vampire kid. Like when they said he got COVID, I'm like, they said, oh, he passed a COVID test, but did you put a mirror in front of his face? Because you wouldn't see anything.
The one that killed me was when they said she had it, there was no sign of her. You didn't hear anything from her. I was like, did she go back to the summer house in Transylvania and climbed into the coffin to regenerate? What the
I'll bet you that bitch almost died. I'll bet you that. Because you don't kill me. You notice how Trump came out the hospital, did that bullshit photo op. He never mentioned her.
No.
He never. I was like, no. Barack
not only that.
Barack would be like, Michelle's doing fine. And Sasha and Malia.
They're all.
Everything okay? Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
Let's be clear. Michelle and Sasha and Leah are doing really swell. And I just want to say to all of you, keep going. YOLO.
Pretty good. So for the record,
yeah,
I'm going way back here because I feel like there's probably one listener who's like was yelling, listening to this, or in theory would yell and listening to this, being like about the Batman thing. I did look it up. Liverpool, they're filming in Liverpool, so.
Oh.
Just for that.
Really?
Liverpool.
Liverpool. They just announced that Liverpool is got the strictest conditions out of anywhere in the UK. Like they're on like the top lockdown, specifically Liverpool.
That would probably explain why the first article that came up when I Googled is titled "The new Batman movie is still being filmed in Liverpool despite the city's Tier 3 restrictions."
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Look at me. We were making, and then right before that, we were making Obama impersonations, and I realized this.
Nice.
I'd be like, you and I together.
It's just like, hey, girl, let me tell you about 2016.
He's like, yeah, girl, you want to learn about government? Yeah, I do. I do.
Obama.
Ow.
How do you get a bill through? Get a bill through, Obama. Oh.
How you get a bill through, baby?
Speaking of bill throughs, what is it? What's today? The 15th? When does Borat come out? In a week? Next Friday?
What?
Borat's supposed to come out like the day before the election.
Oh, Borat. That's Borat.
It's like the 22nd of October or something.
The 23rd, I thought. Yeah.
22nd, 23rd, yeah.
Oh, is it? I thought it was. I thought I had heard it was like the day before election.
Borat is such cringe humor for me. Like it's one of those things I can't stand when people are that stupid. Like I can't stand it. Like I want to get a giant fucking X-ray machine and just irradiate these people. Like you shouldn't be reproducing. I don't want you like to spread your seed on this planet. I need you irradiated right now, like some fucking Terminator seeds from Monsanto. I don't want this to happen because it's one of those, when I see like that kind of stupid, what was it? Nanny 911 and Super Nanny.
Oh, like, that was my shit.
Oh no, I just watched those
That was my shit.
No, because when I would see those kids and what they would do, and my jaw would drop. First of all, like the way they would behave. If my father even heard me behave that way, he'd crush me. 1, 2. If I ever did something like that to my mother, she would like put me in traction, and I just can't just picture that happening in anybody's household. I'm just like, oh no.
Well, I gotta admit, it's funny because I Keith and I have it. I joke about it in my set. We don't spank our kids.
Okay.
We don't. But to tell you the honest truth, I've never needed to. Like I really have never needed to spank them.
Right.
I think that if you just use common freaking sense raising your kids, I don't think you need to. But I'll never forget. I was talking to one of my mom friends about a month ago, and she was telling me about how her daughter is like rude to her. And I never forget, I was like, you put up with the shit? And she just looked at me, she's like, what are you gonna do? I was like, oh girl, let's sit down with a pen and paper. Like we can get
a lot of choices. There are a lot of choices.
You remember your child, I remember my childhood, my parents, they could get medieval on that ass, like Pulp Fiction. Like they were not having it. And I didn't get hit that much growing up, but there's no way I could just come out my face and say some of the things that I see people's kids say.
No.
No way.
I got spanked 3 times. I'm nearing 50, and I still remember each time vividly I got spanked. And when I think back at it, I deserved every one of them. Maybe one I didn't deserve, but like I remember.
There's always one that's a misunderstanding.
Yes.
I'm beating the wrong kid. Shit.
Or my mom was drunk. One of those two. But anyway.
Hey, she's tired. She deserves it.
Exactly. I was 3, and I was playing in my mom's bedroom, and we lived in Jackson Heights. They didn't have the cages on the windows yet because this was the 70s.
Oh, okay.
And I kept on sticking my head out the window. And my mother was in the kitchen cooking, and she said, stay away from the window. It's dangerous. And every time she'd walk out the room, I'd go and stick my head through the window to look out because we lived on the 4th floor, and I was all psyched that I could look out the window. And then, so of course, she would call me from the kitchen, and I'd hear her coming, and I'd go and just like play with whatever in the bedroom. And then in my 3-year-old head, I decided I'm going to play a prank on my mom. And so when she called me, I decided not to answer.
Don't do that.
And then I hid under the bed. So she walked into the bedroom and just saw the curtains doing this, and I'm not answering. And she's freaking out, and I'm under the bed like, laughing, covering my face. And she like literally runs to the window, having a absolute heart attack, screaming my name, sticks her head out the window to see where my already picked apart carcass is. And she's like literally just about crying. And I stick my head out from under her bed and I say, "Hi, Mom," all sweetly and innocently, like, "Isn't this a great joke?" I kid you not. My mother's got big hands. She's not a big woman. Her hands are as big, if not bigger than mine. She grabbed me by my face, literally grabbed me by my face, pulled me
Your face?
By my face. She just grabbed me by my face, pulled me out from under the bed.
Like a bowling ball.
That's gangster.
Turned me
That's
around
mad gangster.
and spanked the shit out of me that I was like in shock. I just stood there like I didn't understand what was so wrong because I thought it was a great prank.
You should have just been like, you should have doubled down. You should be like, I died. God sent me back. God sent me back. I'm an angel. I'm an angel.
You can't be the angel.
You
can't be the angel.
Tomo, I feel like this, and then with the commentary you just added, Sean, this needs to be a sketch.
No, but I remember those few spankings, and I know I deserved it. Like I remember one very clear spanking. I was about 5, and we were at this department store in Philadelphia, and we were shopping for my grandmother's birthday. And so we were in the perfume section, and it's like all the glass counters, and you can see through the little shelves and jewelry and perfume. And I was like, I want that. And my mom was like, "That's for like we're shopping for grandma. I want that. We're shopping for grandma. I want that. We're shopping for grandma." I don't know what got into me, but I freaked out and I was like, "Ah!" I just started picking up perfume bottles. "Ah, fuck this shit!" Like I flipped out. And she was like, "Woo!"
How old were you?
5. And she snatched me up and she took me to the ladies' room and she slung me across the sinks. Because I remember I didn't want to be, I saw they were wet. And I was like, "No." And she put me on the sink and she started spanking me. And I did the worst thing. I said, help anybody. She's beating me again. She was like, took me in the station wagon and lit that ass up.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember just being like, why did I say that? Like, I remember, I don't know why. I just remember, like, I remember thinking when I was growing up, like, was I bipolar? Because I was just snapped. Like, one time I found a dead rat in the alley, and I just took it home, and I threw it at my mother. I just thought it was hilarious. I got spanked for that. So it was like, I got spanked for very clear things.
Yeah.
It wasn't just abuse. You know what I mean? It was like a very clear, like, this little bitch threw a rat at me.
In the Portrait of a Serial Killer documentary that they made, those are the childhood moments that they would hone in on. The only things you've told me about your childhood, those are the bits that I'm like,
but think about it. Now somebody would be like, "That's abuse. That's it." No.
You deserved it. That was self-defense. As a parent, that was self-defense.
And she was young. She had me at 21 years old.
Oh, for sure.
Let me tell you something. Young mom will whoop your ass.
Yeah.
When your mom has you young, she got all the energy.
I've told this story before on the podcast. I remember being home from college and being at the Garden State Plaza Mall and just walking around, and I go on the escalators, I'm going downstairs, and there's a kid, he's about 12 years old, and his mother's on the escalator, they're coming up, she's behind him, and she's pleading with him. She's like, "Oh, come on, Jeremy, just come on, try it, please, would you please?" Like, whining. And he's like, "No, Mom, fuck, I don't want to try it. What the fuck is wrong with you? I told you don't fucking try it." And I literally wanted to lean over and be like, "Lady."
I put my hand behind me, like.
To turn around for 2 minutes because I will straighten this fucking kid out right now. And I was a young man. I was like 20 years old, 21 years old. I was like, "I will straighten this kid out for you right now. No questions asked. Just leave his ass like out of no sense on the floor, and then you can take him home, and he'll be okay." It's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I see kids do stuff in public, and the minute I see them do it, I hear that song like, "Reach out and touch somebody's hand." Like, what? Light it up, light it up. Light it up.
Back when I was working for those listeners that remember the good old days, back when I was working at Medieval Times,
Oh wow.
I have I did. I might have even said this on the podcast once. I know. I was doing, because I was the host. I like introduce all the nights and do my thing. I'm riding around the horse and I'm going around. And I'm like, and now it's this night, and I'm facing all the thing. And it was a school show because it was all the schools were there. And I come to do my speech in this big spotlight moment, and they're all looking at me, and I know it well, but it's still, you know. And as I scan the front of the audience, there's like all these kids, and there's teachers. Like this, every like 5 kids, there's a teacher or something. And then I see this one kid is sitting right at the front, so it's just the plexiglass and the kid, and then me, and they're all smiling, and this kid's smiling, and he's sitting there, and he just goes.
For those that can't see this, Sean is giving the bird.
He just goes, and then like looks at me like, and I look at him and I'm like, I'm on a fucking horse. I am a man dressed in. I have a sword. I am on a horse, and you are doing this. You have no idea. This is literally medieval.
Yes.
There's a torture chamber 20 yards behind the guy, and then I look at him like, I know what you're doing, and I'm no joking, he goes,
doubles down.
no. And I'm like, all I could think about the rest of the show, I remember going up there, the show's going on, and I'm talking to the Queen about all the different ways I could fuck this child over. I was like, there's so many kids and there's so many teachers, and I'm like, you know what, if I run immediately after the show's finished and I can meet him at the stairwell, and it's going to be really busy, it's like the fucking Titanic with all these kids and everyone's running around like crazy, I could go there and I could purposely walk past and just like jab him, like with I could jab him with my elbow.
Just
like right
like a suck real fast.
Just knock him over real quick.
Hey kids, how you doing?
Or just like
just once in the neck.
Yeah, I could just kick him with my spur, like purposely kick him in the shin, and then what I would do is then I would turn around to him and go.
No, kids who are ill behaved, they piss me off. Like I can't. I used to for like a month. I was a teaching artist at a Buddhist preschool, and I had to go, honey.
A Buddhist preschool?
They have everything in Brooklyn. My son went to an African-centered vegan preschool here in Brooklyn. That's not a joke. That's real.
The part that surprised me the most was vegan. They're
vegan. They're vegan.
But what does that have to do with like kids?
So a preschool child has to adhere to a vegan diet to go to this school?
When you're there.
Oh, okay.
Like when you're there. And it was hilarious because the first week he would come home, he was 2.5. He would grab bacon out the fridge and be like, Mama, cook it.
He's starving.
Cook it, Mama, cook it.
He started to eat his own finger, just eat other kids.
He was hungry.
He's already like, I got iron deficiencies, Mom.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. They were wonderful preschool. Like I love those people. I love them great. Because they taught them like I love them. They no strength, but taught them like just weak as fuck. But they taught them like
no athletes. But
there's always a trade-off. You know what I'm saying? There's always a trade-off. Like with my daughter's school, my daughter's preschool, it was in this Baptist church, and they were wonderful. It was like being taught by a bunch of grandmothers. Little too Jesus-y for me. Just a little too Jesus-y for me. Right. I'll never forget when I realized like this is too much for me. They were like prepping for the Christmas concert. Okay. And she had to sing this song, Happy Birthday, Jesus. I'm so glad it's Christmas. And my ignorant ass at the dress rehearsal, I was like, what was Jesus born? What day was that? Like, I really, because Jesus is Santa. Like, Jesus is Black Santa to me. That's Black Santa Day. I was like, when was Jesus' birth? Oh, that day. Okay.
That actually, like researchers have pinpointed. They have estimated that his actual birth was like in like September or
he's a Virgo. I knew it.
September or October.
I knew he was a Virgo.
Because
perfectionist.
They moved it to Christmas to convert the Vikings.
Isn't that some shit?
Germanic tribes, because that was the midwinter's feast.
Wow. Yeah, to like take over the winter solstice pagan holidays.
Right.
Kind of moved it over.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But I worked at a Buddhist preschool here in Brooklyn for about a month, and I could not handle it because the parents were raising those kids to be so freaking entitled and rude. Even at 3 and 4, I'll never forget. There's this one little girl. If you out there, Orly, fuck you. Okay, you 13 now. Fuck you, Orly. Fuck your little ass. You're a little bitch. You're a little bitch, and I bet you're a little bitch now. Okay.
Hold on.
You are gonna come back as a dog now.
Hold on, Holly. Before you go on, we have a little segment on the show called "Fuck That Guy." So let's just reinforce this. What's her name again? Orly.
Orly. Orly.
All right, Orly.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
For what's going on here? Fuck Orly. Fuck that guy.
Fuck a Orly. Fuck a Orly. Your name is Orly. Fuck you too, bitch.
Fuck you too.
Your name is Orly. Fuck you for being named Orly. That's your fucking misfortune.
That's right.
Why your mama got named you Orly? This little girl was so rude. Rude. I would start talking. I never forget one time I was there 90 minutes a day. 90 minutes a day. And I would go in and do like little improv and little lessons. She was like, I don't like it when you're here. And then, because I didn't acknowledge her, she started being like, I don't like it when the black lady's here. And finally, I could not take it. I said, you know what, little girl, you talk too much. I don't want to hear your voice anymore. You're getting on my nerves. How about you go sit in the corner far away? She was like, I'm very upset. I said, you should be upset. You just got shamed. And I go sit in the corner. That's how shame works. Don't fuck with me. I don't give a goddamn. I don't give a goddamn. I've been hit by the best. Like, fuck that. Mom, dad, auntie, uncle. I know how to pay respect. Like, I have a lot of mouth, but when it comes to my elders, I know how to act.
She's probably
I know how to show people respect. You know what I'm saying?
She's probably like a Republican representative now. And like, that's like, she's like, that's it. I'm like, oh my God.
You know what? You know who she's, what's her name? Tommy Laren? She's her assistant right now.
But you know about Tommy, what cracks me about Tommy, little dumbass Laren, is the fact that she always tries to like clap at people and they just clap back even harder. It's like, why do you...
Is she still a thing? I thought she was like...
She's been trying. She's been trying.
Because didn't her whole thing, her show, or did she have a show, or was it a web show? I don't even know. Didn't that all get canceled? Or like, she got kicked off of some... She was on some...
She was on the Blaze. She was on the Blaze. And then she got kicked off.
Yeah.
I think, didn't Fox News pick her up or some shit?
I think Fox picked her up because she was on with, what's his name, Glenn...
Beck.
Is it Glenn Beck?
Is it Beck? We're talking about Glenn Beck?
I think so, yeah, Glenn Beck, yeah. She was on his network, and the whole thing was that she was she was pro-abortion, pro-choice.
She's pro-choice, yeah.
Oh, and yeah, they fired her. They were like, you can't be on our network anymore.
Right, and she was like, well, I'd be a hypocrite because I believe in it. And it's just like, all right, well, later for you, sister. You know.
I love how these men kicked her off for pro-abortion things because they bleed so much.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, you've never bought a Tampax, sir. You never, unless you have fashioned a whole fucking maxi pad out of a hockey rink toilet paper, I don't want to hear shit from you.
You know, I always try to be as sensitive as I can because, like, my wife and I have been together for 25 years. So I always try to be, thank you, Holly. The guys are looking at me like, oh, fuck you. Who cares?
That's a god. What?
Yes.
That shit could blow up at any goddamn minute, but it's been held together. You know what I'm saying? Tomo knows what I'm talking about.
So I always try, you know, to sympathize, but I can't because I'm a guy. And she's like, I got cramps. It's really bad. I'm like, yeah, I got cramps too. It's like, my flow is really heavy this month. I'm like, yeah, I'm farting because I had those cookies. It's just like, that's about all the association I can do there.
I'm like, okay, picture your ass bleeding. Your ass is bleeding. You need something to go up there, and you're hating life. You're hating life.
At least you've got cramps.
I needed money. What's that?
I was going to say, at least you got cramps. It doesn't work the same with me and my wife because I love to remind her, or I remind her a couple of times, I've never had a cramp in my life. Never had a single cramp. I actually don't know what it's like to just not be comfortable all the time. I'm just.
That's why. See, you asshole. That's why if somebody breaks up in here, you an asshole for that shit.
I am just constantly a comfortable white British man.
Yeah, that's why if somebody breaks up in this apartment, I be like, bitch, I bleed. This is you. I bleed. This is you. You go.
John, you're my hero.
I bet you a bleeder ain't breaking up in here. I bet you it's not a bleeding ass woman busting up in our apartment right now. That's your territory.
I'll tell you right now what Sean's all about. That's because he eats all those bananas. It's all that potassium, and he never cramps up.
Stop it. Have you guys ever seen that video when they actually gave men the simulated labor pains?
I did see that years ago.
What?
Yes.
What?
And guys started crying like little girls in like 30 seconds. 30.
Because let me tell you something. I tried natural childbirth. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking because I have a drink at noon. I don't have a natural Friday. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a mimosa at noon on Friday. So I don't know what the hell I was thinking about a natural childbirth. Yo, those labor pains hit and I couldn't even talk. But they were like, how are you feeling? I was like,
No.
And they were like, we have to give you drugs. I was like, okay. I threw all my morals, all my beliefs right out the window. They're like,
right out the window.
Sorry, but we're gonna have to give you drugs. I was like, if you say so. Say so.
It's like, hold on, I got a pipe right here. Put it. I'll do it myself. Just give me.
Let me tell you, now that I've gone through 2 births, neither of them natural, I have to admit, like, I've had friends, like when my girlfriend, she had babies after me. She was like, I'm so sorry it didn't happen for you, but it happened for me. Let me show you my 263 photos of my natural birth in my kiddie pool in Malibu, California. And I just look at her and I'm just thinking, yeah, bitch, but you gonna get hit by a car one day. Yo ass. You can't escape pain, bitch. You gonna get hit by a car or
but you know what?
Something.
That's a lot of that, what they say, a lot of women, what the brain does as a defense mechanism, kind of like when you cover up abuse and stuff like that, you just put things, and that's why it like gets
compartmentalized.
Yeah.
Kind of like
they're saying they romanticize it because the endorphins come in afterwards. You're really happy to have the kid, but the pain is just.
You're not happy to have the kid. You're happy to be out of pain.
Well,
people always say you're happy to have your kid. No, you're not. You're happy the pain is over.
It's like, oh, this thing came out of me. Oh my god. Think about when you take a big dump. It's just such a relief, and that's nothing.
But let me tell you what's crazy though is the fact that you give birth. The first time I had my daughter, the first kid, I was in like the high-tech Columbia Presbyterian hospital in the birthing room, and they got a whole team. They're all masked up, and it's so serious. And then the minute you have the kid, they're like, "Okay, we're gonna give you Tylenol." You're like, "What?"
No.
Like the minute the baby's out, they don't give a shit about you. Like everybody goes away. They take the IV out. They take you to the shitty little room with your sweet mate that don't speak English. Like, honey.
They're like, she didn't die. We can't make any money off this one. Fuck it.
No.
Living.
You're right. You're right. They do. And I don't know did your wife, are you guys in New York, Sean?
Yeah, we're in Jersey.
You're in Jersey. Did you guys have a private room for afterwards for the baby?
Yeah, we did.
Did you have to pay or no for the private room?
No.
There you go. I had my babies in New York. That was stupid. They make you pay in New York like $600 a night.
Yeah.
But this was like 10 years ago, so I'm sure it's more.
Oh,
that's crazy.
And it's the weirdest thing to be watching Fatal Attraction with your sweet mate the day you had birth. I was just like, I was sitting there, we both like just asses stitched up, just talking about, girl, it's a good movie. They gonna come back with the ice pack? All right, I got you.
First, you know what? I can't help but think that the hospital cable operator put that shit up on purpose because they're like, see that boiled bunny? That's your fucking kid. It's not good looking. That's how ugly and wrinkled your kid looks, like a boiled rabbit right now.
It was awesome though, because my sweet mate didn't speak any English. So I put it in the subtitle, like I was able to put it in Spanish subtitles on the TV, and she had never seen it before. So I was like, to watch Fatal Attraction with this bitch I ain't never seen it before. I was like, oh yeah, girl, everything's gonna work out. He's gonna leave that woman. Oh no, she's not gonna kidnap that kid.
Every time something bad happens, do a shot of morphine. Every time something bad happens, do a shot of morphine. It's a drinking game.
We turn that shit to never have I ever. We're like, never have I ever boiled a rabbit. Never have I ever.
Oh,
that's funny. It's ironic. We didn't have. It's not that funny. It just made me think of it. What am I saying?
Look at him lowering the expectations right away.
I'm wasting my breath with something that's not even a joke. No, it just made me think of it. She said Fatal Attraction, where my wife, the suite we were in, was the same suite that Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones had a kid, like 10, 15 years before.
Really?
Wow.
It was the favorite story of every nurse on that ward because they love to say it, because they specifically, it wasn't a fancy place. This is Valley Hospital in Ridgewood. And they love to say this because they were going to give birth, their first kid, they gave birth in like the same as you, like fancy, like whatever in the city, like Presbyterian, like Cedar Sinai or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it was too much. And they'd press all over the place. People were outside. They were like, blah, blah, blah. And so their primary doctor, whoever that is, specifically recommended Valley Hospital in Ridgewood because they said, like, go there because it's excellent quality, like quality-wise, medical-wise, because Ridgewood is full of incredibly rich people in Jersey. For us, it was just the closest hospital that wasn't Hackensack, and there's no fucking way we were going to Hackensack because we were going to just, like, whatever. But they...
I'm like...
Both of my nephews were born in Hackensack. They're fun.
Oh. We were watching a lot of documentaries about C-sections, whatever. But they ended up going there. They ended up getting Mike Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones when they said that they're like no press. They're like there'll be no press, there'll be no cameras. Like you can have a quiet birth.
No, it's Richmond, New Jersey. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, so that was they loved that little story. So I was like, oh.
I just remember when I had my daughter in January. It was weird. The nurses kept telling me, they said that like every nurse told me this, like at least 5 nurses. They were like, January is the lowest amount of births. It's and it's true. I looked it up. January is when Americans have the least amount of babies.
That's when I was born. Makes sense.
I was born January.
Wait, what's 9 months?
Oh, you were?
What's 9 months
January
before
2nd.
January?
My mother's birthday.
April.
Literally my mother's birthday.
Why is that? Why is nobody having sex in April?
I don't know. I was fucking
okay. there were a lot of people.
We were married. That's what happens. I just remember. I just remember because if I had her in January, there was like the hospital not desolate, but it wasn't busy, and I didn't realize it wasn't busy because it's my first kid, so I don't really know how busy it gets. But when I had my son in May, holy shit! I had my son in May at Maimonides, and Maimonides Hospital is where all the Hasidics give birth. And they be dropping babies every 18 months.
So
I'm not being ignorant. I'm not being racist. I'm being real.
So Rocky was a Labor Day baby?
I'm sorry, who?
I said Rozzy was a Labor Day baby?
No, he was right before Memorial Day. He was 2 days before. He was in May, and he was like 2 days before Mother's Day. I had him. I brought him home.
The conception.
Like
a Labor Day
I guess.
party?
Probably. Probably drank too much at my brother's barbecue. We started dancing to some 90s shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, is this CNC Music Factory? Oh.
We probably started dancing to some 112. Only you, girl, I want to.
Okay, we're losing half the team, Holly. Don't even.
Dancing to some bad boy. Look at you, little young asses. Y'all don't know good music, goddammit. Look at y'all. No, but yeah, I had my son. I had him in the freaking hospital where all the Hasidic women have their babies. I had to be in the damn, like, ER, almost like the prisoner part. Like when you had the baby.
It was this, like, in the supply closet.
It was crazy.
The
And then they got me, but I'll never forget. This is the craziest shit. I gave birth in the ER, which is weird. You give birth in the ER, just a sheet dividing you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I tried to give natural childbirth. I went to the Brooklyn Birthing Center, and they were like, "Oh, you have meconium inside you. I'm sorry, we got to rush you to the hospital." I was like, "What does that mean?" They were like, "Your son took a shit inside of you." I was like, "Oh." Well, now I know he's a boy. He's a real boy. So they rushed me to my mom's days, and I gave birth in the ER. But like, I'll never forget the nurse who helped deliver. She goes, "There's a woman in the next room who's having her 10th baby." And I swear to God, this bitch sounded like this. Ow. I was like,
Listen. Biology is such that by the time you have your 10th, if you sneeze, you're having that kid. You're up to. I'm like, oh, sorry.
I was like, I've had rougher shits than this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever have a boo-boo that can change your whole perspective? Like, you ever have a boo-boo where all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to be eating fiber. I'm going to be working out. I'm going to be eating green. Like, you got to have a boo-boo to change your whole shit. You know what I mean? Like, but this woman was like, I swear to God, my husband was like, "Is that really a woman?" And she's like,
Damn.
Yeah. She get like a free baby with that, like in the rewards card. Like the staff,
the card.
They're like,
"Oh, you're at 10.
Like, Mazel tov, your 10th child. You get to take somebody else's child who left the faith, who couldn't cope with the psychological damage. You get to take this child now because you've raised 10 of them. Hey, schmoo, off you go."
I have to admit, I don't understand.
Like the card you get at the deli.
Thank you. I gotta admit, like Andrew and Sean, I don't understand because I'm one of 6 kids. I'm one of 6.
Okay.
And I'm like the top half of the middle. I'm the third one down.
Okay.
Out of 6, the top half of the middle. And it's like, it just made me into a negotiator. I'm very diplomatic, but I feel like it makes me put up with more shit than I should because I'm a middle child. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like being one of 6, I totally believe in birth order because I've witnessed it. And I have to admit, I don't, this is so mean, I don't understand the third kid. You have an heir, you have a spare. What the fuck do you need? You have 2 goddamn kids.
I think when you notice that one of them is maybe not so worth the time, you're like, well, we've got a do-over. We get to do another one.
There was a stand-up comedian, he had a joke about that. Adam Ferrara, New York stand-up comedian, and he was talking about that. He says it was him and his 2 brothers. And he said when they'd fuck up, his father would say, like, "All right, well, now you know I had the 3 of you because we knew one day we'd have to kill one of you sons of bitches." That's what his father would say.
That's good.
Oh my God. That's good. Let me tell you something. When you're 6 kids in your family, there's never a cohesive. Like, that's just shit that's only in TV shows. There's always somebody's not talking to somebody. And then somebody's the favorite of this one. Somebody's the black sheep in the family. Like, I don't understand 6 kids. I don't.
My mom is one of 10. And so
they were fucking
good and Catholic in the mountains. Yeah, baby. Absolutely.
What else are you gonna do? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the family is such that my youngest uncle is younger than my oldest cousin.
Oh, wow.
So there's literally 24 years between the oldest sister and the youngest brother.
I can't.
My mom is right in the middle. I think my mom is number 5 or 6. So she got the good tight womb. You know what I mean? She got the good tight womb in the beginning. She was like, "I'm safe and sound." The other kids were like, "Shit, I'm holding on." Well, I'm telling you, by the time number 10...
She walked too fast. I got to hold on to this one.
There's graffiti on here. Someone etched their name here. What the fuck is this?
So-and-so was here. Somebody dented this wall.
This thing doesn't even work anymore. Like, replace it.
I'm telling you.
Mom's like, you got to jiggle it.
My grandmother would sneeze. My grandmother would sneeze and a kid would come out. Yeah, that's basically what it turned into.
That is, man, I'll never forget, not my hometown, but I grew up in South Jersey, in Cape May, New Jersey. And like a few towns over, there was a family, they had 25 kids. 25. This woman pushed
Same
out.
woman?
Was it
Yup.
Pokemon?
Is that
What the
possible?
fuck?
No, it is. They
is.
got married when they were 16. They got married as sophomores in high school
Okay.
because they were pregnant and they had a baby every year for 25 goddamn
Jesus.
years until her early.
That's a lot of Irish twins right there. That's a lot of Irish twins.
You know what's crazy though? And some people, it's Irish twins. I've heard Puerto Rican twins.
Puerto Rican twins if you're from the
It
city.
depends on who you're with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at me. If I'm with some black people, I'm like, you know them Irish twins.
Yeah, it's like whatever acceptable racism you're going for there.
Right.
It's like
Who can we talk about right now?
Who can we insult without causing too much offense right now?
the Irish and the Puerto Ricans. What the fuck are they going to do?
Oh, look at that. Look at those Somali twins.
My favorite is when you know people could be slightly, like you know someone could be slightly racist when they don't say Puerto Rican, they say Puerto Rican. You're like, oh shit. They said Puerto Rican.
We're in the South now. We said Puerto Rican.
Don't even know how to say it right.
Because I remember I had an uncle who used to say Puerto Rican. And I used to be like, isn't he? It's just like, he's a grown-ass man. Why is he saying that shit? But, you know, when you hear Puerto Rican, you can also hear, I don't know, all that cackalaca. You're like, ooh, okay. We're just going to keep this in the car. We're not going to say none of this when we get out the car, right? We get out the car.
No.
We just...
We've all got an uncle.
We all do. Everybody got that auntie, uncle,
Right,
the racist auntie.
I didn't know anything about coming from England. Like we don't have, you know, we have no biases. I have no idea of someone being.
Really?
No. My point
y'all
is,
like vintage.
There's no
racism
in England.
Y'all like vintage racism.
if you're from an island, you're from an island. They're just islanders. I mean, I don't have specific.
Because y'all have so many black people on BBC, right?
I was gonna say.
There's so many.
We've got all the best, you know.
I was gonna say your packy neighbor, I'm sure appreciates that very much.
Thank you. Right. There you go. No,
oh damn.
Yeah, I don't understand 25 goddamn. I don't understand 25 kids. I don't get that.
Go ahead. You were saying, Andrew?
Oh, I was gonna try. This may be very controversial. I was gonna say,
please.
We're drinking scotch together. Go ahead.
I was going to say, do we want to talk about the movies as we started this?
Which movies?
Oh.
the topic for this podcast.
Oh, the 007?
All that stuff. I just, if you know.
I mean, we could go do a run through. I think we could let's do a run through. And then
I just was curious,
scotch.
you know, as us nerds go, any thoughts on waiting on these movies and thoughts about movie theaters and things like that. I was just going to say, you know.
Did you guys see the latest thing that I posted, and somebody posted on my I saw on my Facebook feed? It said, please explain this. And it's a picture of an airplane packed with people with masks on and then an empty theater. I said, why one and not the other? And I was kind of like, they have a point.
Well, I have a slight problem with that, and as someone who primarily works in theaters, like I want to get back to theater, but like the difference is you got a cast of like 30 people who are professionally trained to project spitting at you. True. Versus you've got one fucking cabin crew guy at the front doing this with the exits.
Wait, but did they mean live theater or movie theater?
See, I thought movie theater.
I was thinking movie theater.
Which live.
But
the picture's a live theater, I think.
I mean, I think it was meant for either, but I see Sean's point clearly.
I see that for sure.
I see it too.
I don't know. I kind of agree maybe with that meme more on the movie theaters, which movie theaters are open in Sean and Tomo in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
More or less.
Oh,
in Jersey.
Yeah,
they're open in Jersey, but not here in New York.
No one's going.
Did you hear what AMC is doing?
No. What are they doing?
AMC is renting out the theater for $99 if you want to watch your movie in the theater for up to 20 people.
Oh, are they doing that? Alamo was doing something like that, and I saw it and was like, "That's awesome."
I would do that.
I would absolutely do that.
Yeah, we could.
Oh my god! I'll never forget the moment.
Yeah.
I had a short film in Urban World a long time ago, and to see my short film on the big screen on 34th Street, like I thought I was gonna have an orgasm. I really did. My husband was like, "Holly," I was like, "Stop talking.
Don't talk. You're ruining the moment for me right now.
Ruining the moment right now.
Stop.
No, but that's awesome to rent it out. That's pretty tight.
That's
I like
cool.
that.
Yeah, a lot of people.
No, but it's like comedy clubs because I work, I host at a West Side Comedy Club, and the booker and I, Felicia Madison, we work on another project together. She's like in this whole thing where she's like, how can bowling alleys be allowed to be open, but comedy clubs aren't?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'll be honest with you. I know why they aren't, because you're like, ha, ha, ha. And it's like, ha, 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 ha. You know what I mean? Like going out into the air, but it's like, and a lot of comedy clubs are in basements.
Yeah.
No window, not even a door, just a door to a stairwell.
And people are drinking, and like the second you drink, all fucking sense goes out the window.
All sense goes out the window.
Oh, right, exactly. And I mean, again, this is one of those things that's common sense. There are the places, there's a Massage Envy chain, and they went and got a giant like air purifier, like with the UV lights and the whole nine, for their air conditioning system.
Oh, wow.
So that the air in the place that's circulated is sanitized constantly. And I'm like, if you're a movie theater, why would you not drop $5,000-$10,000 to not, to make money as opposed to like not do anything and go broke? Like I don't get it. It's like a full investment. Do it, take care of it.
Yeah, but the theaters in the places that can be opened are opened. Even if they had, like, say in New York City, even if they had that system, the government's not allowing New York City or New York State, I think it's statewide, not allowed to open. So it's like, why would you?
No, I get that point, but my point is like, why wouldn't you present that as an initiative?
Yeah,
I don't know. But on that
I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like most people thought the administration was gonna handle this shit. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't think anybody back in March thought we'd be sitting here in October.
It was going to be over by Easter. It was over by Easter. That was the plan, right?
Well, by July,
the Easter thing cracked me up. The Easter thing cracked me up because, honey, I was on Facebook watching aunties down south with their masks for Easter with the pearls and the just bejeweled, honey. Just like, look, girl, I got my mask. I was like, Auntie, you could just meet Jesus at home. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, the most infuriating one for me this whole time was when Wax Boy, Jared Kushner, went up and said like, the country's going to be rocking by July. It's like
he said that. He said that.
You don't even know what the fuck rocking is. That's just a phrase you heard somewhere. With your pale ass, I don't even think you're.
He looks like a vampire teenager. He don't know the motherfucking
completely.
rocking.
Like he should have been in Twilight, not fucking Robert Pattinson. He should have been in Twilight.
But ain't nobody trying to kiss him, though. I'm just saying.
No.
But you can see with Jared Kushner, there's a little man who lives behind his ear that when he smiles or smirks, he just like he operates like a screw thing with like a bit of tiny light, and he goes.
No. Better yet, remember the first Men in Black?
Yeah.
Remember what was his name? The jeweler guy, something with an R, I think. And he had the little alien living inside his head, operating everything. That's what Jared Kushner is. Jared Kushner is an excellent.
Yeah.
Every time I hear his voice, I want to punch him in the fucking face. Like he's like, he's a little whiny ass. I feel as if blah blah blah. I'm like, shut up and go to prison with your dad. Like, ew.
New Jersey's finest, Kushner.
Word, they are New Jersey's finest.
Awful.
When I read about why his dad went to prison, I was like, you're from a garbage ass family.
That's some shit, huh?
Like, holy shit.
What was that? I didn't hear that.
That's why Christie didn't get offered anything in the administration.
They were trying to give his big behind shit. Like I knew they weren't trying to give him nothing.
You know when Christie failed to get a position in the administration? When he took that picture in a softball outfit. And he had those tight pants on. And you
and he had a fupa.
And he had
when Chris Christie had that fupa, that shit was over.
The moose knuckle was showing like that. It was just like...
He had a camel toe, the moose knuckle.
The calzone.
It was fupa on fleek. It was fupa on fleek. And I was like, he ain't getting big pussy. I was like, he's not.
But Christie put away his father because Yeah, Sean, you didn't know. Kushner's father tried to get his sister's husband in jail. He literally hired a hooker to like sleep with the sister's husband to try to get the sister divorced. And I was like, he was like, what the fuck? No, what was going on? And then they found out like to try and I think there was some real estate deal.
Wait, this is illegal? Whoa. I need you to backtrack. Which parts of this are illegal?
Hold on, my doorbell's ringing. Let me see who that is.
I need to know specifically which parts of that plan are illegal.
And the thing is that Chris Christie, he's a corrupt asshole. But like, he wasn't lying about the Kushners.
No.
He was not lying about them.
What happens to all these guys, they get some success, and then the power goes to their head, and they go crazy. Because when it came to Sandy, Christie did a good job in Jersey. Like when there were lines for gas and everything, and he was like, all right, if your license plate ends in an odd number, you get to go for gas on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If it's even, you get to, and it was just like, oh, okay, the lines are gone. Boom. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, take care of it. Like that kind of stuff. But like I said, like the power goes through, and then they had the whole fucking bridge gate, and that was just like such bogus. And it was just terrible. It was like, you can't do that shit. But
how did he do with Corona? How did Chris Christie, because remember he got Corona? Is he okay?
He's dying. He's dying.
He's dying. He's with Melania.
He is like
he's like knock knocking on heaven's door.
Totally. He was in ICU for 7 days with his fat ass. Because
fucking ICU?
ICU for 7 days.
Shit.
Yes. And, if somebody says, like, you're fat shaming, you goddamn right I'm fat shaming. Because it's okay if you're comfortable with yourself being fat. But if you're sick, you can be fat all you want. But if there's a disaster and I have to wait to get your fat ass up over a wall, if you could get over the wall by yourself, be as fat as you can. But if you sit there and get your ass over the wall.
I know fat fit. Be fat fit. Be fat fit.
The nerve to be fat and sick. I mean, at least someone like Freddie Mercury. Freddie Mercury had the decency to be skinny and sick.
Exactly.
I don't know why.
Well, I think if we can't shame people for being fat, then we shouldn't have to be sympathetic when they're sick.
Actually, I saw somebody posted on Instagram, and I thought it was very funny, the whole thing with the fat and being comfortable. And somebody said, this is gaslighting. Because unless your blood work is completely clean and your cholesterol is fine and your blood pressure is fine and your electrolytes are fine, you're basically pretending that you're healthy and you're not. And
I gotta admit though, sometimes with the fat, like you talk about BMI, like I'm 5'3" and it says I'm supposed to be 115 pounds. I'm 140 pounds. I'm a size 7.
BMI,
and I'm like, I'm not a fat woman. You know what I mean? I'm like, what do you want from me?
BMI doesn't work.
BMI only works, and this is a confusion, and they love to do this on the computer. BMI only works if they actually submerge you into water to see what your volume displacement is. Huh? Okay? In other words, if you have a lot of muscle and you have really dense bones, your weight will be higher than someone else. And you're not fat, you're just heavier. Put in The Rock's numbers. He's 6'5", 275. He's obese according to BMI. Does The Rock look obese? That motherfucker looks like he's smuggling bowling balls under that shirt.
No, The Rock looks so good.
He does.
We could all agree. Good he looks.
If his face was a little bit better, I would even consider after some scotches, like, making him comfortable.
I've been smelling what The Rock is cooking. I've been smelling. I smelt it. I wish he dealt it. I was like, honey. I'll never forget. Back in the 90s, I was like, I don't know if this man is black, white, Puerto Rican. He could be like Tiger Woods with that cablation shit.
Wait. Did you say Puerto Rican? Did you say Puerto Rican?
I said Puerto Rican. What'd I say? Don't call me with the goddamn Scotch. He could be Puerto Rican. I don't know what this brother is, but he's a brother, and
he's got that Obama thing. He's got the Hawaii black thing. He's like, I got Hawaii, I got black. Like it's like
not Hawaii. He's Samoan. He's Samoan and black. That's all.
Yeah. Well, he was born in Hawaii.
Yeah, he is from Hawaii.
But The Rock is very interesting because there's nothing hotter than a man who's like mad freaking strong and can whoop some ass, but all of a sudden he's like, hey there, little lady. You're like, oh.
I know. I feel the same
right
way.
now.
It says to me, hey there, little lady. I'm like, oh, stop. Just stop.
You don't get that with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Be like,
no, fuck that.
Hi there, little lady.
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor.
Let me tell you, I saw a video of Arnold when he was young and he was in Brazil. And it was the most disturbing video. This was right about the time he got elected governor. Okay. And he's with some pretty Brazilian girl. He's in either Rio or Sao Paulo. And she's teaching him the language. And somebody's videotaping this. And he has a carrot, like a peeled carrot in his hand. And for some reason, he's saying bunta. And I don't know if this is like Brazilian slang for dick or pussy or sex or I don't know. But he's very much entertained by it. And he has this carrot and he's pushing it in and out of this woman's mouth.
Stop.
No, I kid you not. Find the video. Find the video.
Stop it.
I kid you not. And it looks, and it's supposed to be like a sexy thing. He's going, bunta, bunta. And he's pushing this carrot in this woman's mouth. And this woman looks like this is a Nazi snuff video. She is terrified. She's like literally like,
oh my God.
So you're
Is
saying
he like mouth raper with a carrot? What the fuck happened?
Yes, absolutely. It is the most disturbing.
Can you even press charges for that shit? Like, what the fuck is your support group look for that shit? He stuck an eggplant in my mouth. He had a banana. He had a carrot. Like, what the fuck?
I got filleted by Turbo Man group.
And this is a young Arnold with still the like bodybuilding hair with the like waves and looks like a 60s reject kind of thing. And he's sitting there, he's going, bunta, bunta, yeah, bunta. And just pushing this carrot in and out of this woman's mouth. And she's like kind of like
I'll never forget the first time, like as a child, I think it was like Red Sonja or some shit, some movie he did. Mm-hmm. Red Child. Look at your little youngin. But I'll never forget the first time I saw him, I realized, oh my God, when he opened his mouth and he started talking, I was like, oh, this is how men feel when a hot, stupid bitch starts talking. Exactly. Oh my God.
Exactly right.
It. Exactly. The first time he was all hot and I was like, oh, I was like 12. I was like, oh, hey, what's up? And he was like, I was like, ooh, stop talking. Stop talking. It was like somebody put a blow dryer on my 12-year-old panties and just dried the whole fucking thing up. It was like, I was like,
I went on a date with a girl in high school and she was.
No, you didn't. I'm just kidding.
This is true. She was bad hot. And I was super psyched to be going on this date. And so we're walking to the movie theater. We're going to the movies. And she says, so what's that class that I see you in? I said, oh, it's physics. What's physics? And I literally went,
Stop it.
I was like, oh, no, it was dumb as a bag of rocks. I mean, a bag of hammers was smarter than this girl. And it was just like, instantly, I was just like, yeah, I'm going to take you home, and then I'm going to go home after the movie.
It's sad, though, because I know what it's like to feel to be getting treated like you're stupid. Because, like, I'm very smart on, like, the language and interpersonal side, but on the science and math side, I'm dumb. You know what I mean?
What's the square root of 81?
9, right?
So you're not that stupid.
But let me tell you, when I was in high school, I went to this Quaker boarding school when I was in high school, and they moved my math class. All of a sudden, they're like, you're in a different room. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I went to the class, and it was like, my high school, I played lacrosse, I played field hockey. I was, I was a head cheerleader, whatever. But like,
Holly.
But I was in this math class, right?
You got the white punch card. Field hockey and lacrosse, you got the white punch card.
I do. I have the total white punch card, my white ass childhood. So like, I'm in this class, right? And I'm in my math class, and I'm like, oh wow, I guess there's some new kids in this class, like whatever. And all of a sudden, the teacher goes, Holly, I think you're next door. And I was like, oh, I think I am too. And I got up and I started to walk out, and all these kids were like, I knew she wasn't in this goddamn class. They were like, I knew Holly's ass wasn't in this class. I was like,
oh, poor Holly.
I was like, I'm the stupid bitch. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. And after that, I went harder at shooting after that. I went harder on my cheers. I was like, shit, I gotta focus, bitch, because you just got some, like, they just put up some roadblocks in your ass. Like, you're just gonna have to focus from now on.
Nice. All right, so let's grade our drink for tonight, shall we? Before we close up. Dewar's Blended Scotch Whiskey by John Dewar Sons Ltd. from, Sean, is it Perthshire or is it Perthshire?
Shire.
There is no place in England that ends in Shire.
Okay, excellent. Okay.
I didn't know that.
Perthshire.
That is people. This is Americans mixing up like The Hobbit with England. That it's not. There is nothing Shire. Everything is shire.
Okay, sure.
Did not know that.
Perthshire.
Okay.
Perthshire, Scotland. Dewar's white label.
So I would have thought it's pronounced Dowers as well.
Oh,
I just
shit.
thought it Dowers. I'd say it Dowers white label.
Don't mess up my childhood for me, goddammit.
Dewar's.
Here in America, we call it doers.
Yeah, you communist bastard. All right.
Socialist motherfucker is doers.
Yeah. Well, my uncle's he's American Scottish, and he knows exactly what it's supposed to be.
All right, let's start with the grades. Andrew, what do you have to say about what was it? Dowers? I don't know how.
He said Dowers.
D-O-W. Yeah, Downers. What's it?
Dowers.
That's right. It's from Boston. Dowers. What do you think about Dowers, Andrew? Andy, what do you think about Dowers?
Yeah, man. I mean, Dowers, doers, whatever you want to call it. You guys know this, Sean and Tomo. That I'm a big whiskey fan, so I'm always down for a little whiskey. The Dewars is great, man. I really like it. You know, I'm a bourbon man for the most part, but I do like my scotches from time to time. And I won't keep us too long here today with this, and just say that I really like it. And Holly, another shout out to you for you being on this podcast means that this bottle of Dewar's was hand delivered to my door by Tomo. So shout out to you for that.
Oh, Tomo is awesome.
He is awesome.
I am
awesome.
My bottle's empty. I am awesome. Look at that.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, I really like it. I mean, it's great. It's a great, just easy to drink, good scotch. I got my nice, got a nice big ice cube like you had, Tomo, and just pour it in here.
You can't say ice cube no more. Shit.
Oh, shit.
Ice lump. I have
frozen water to keep it cold in my glass.
That's right.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna go with a 4.0 on the Dewars.
Okay, fair enough. Sean, you want to go next?
Yeah, I'm very new to the whiskey game, and
it's a game now.
This is fine. I don't know. This is good whiskey. I mean, it works. It's doing its. I'm like drunk, I guess. So, so it works. I mean, like it's liquid. It got me drunk. I guess it's working. Yeah, no, it tastes fine. I think it's probably good. I've never heard of Dewar's Dowers. I'd never heard of it. I don't recognize it. We don't have it in England, which is kind of funny. But I guess.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
It's not made. It's made in Scotland, but it's seemingly exclusively for Americans. I was just Googling it, trying to figure out is the most popular Scotch in America, but it's literally made the Americans. It's owned by Bacardi, and the Americans run the gig, and just they produce it in Scotland so they can call it Scotch, and then just bring it back to the US and sell it to all the Americans. Whereas the actual Scottish people who are making Scotch, who are like sort of like, hey, what the fuck is that shit? Like, what the fuck? We got a Scotch back here, man. But like, so I guess, but fine, because I like it. I think it's good. I see why it's the most popular. Like, it's pretty easy. It's not too crazy. Some scotches are like I've tasted, and I've never been a big whiskey guy because I've tasted Scotch and I'd be like, that tastes like a fucking, like, that tastes what I imagine like death tastes like if I was Like, I imagine.
But it's like death, but it gets better. It gets better.
I guess.
But no,
You gotta get over the hump, baby.
But you're dying. It's like that last little breath where like you've got there's no moisture left in your mouth because you're dying, and then there's like one little bit of moisture and you taste it and you go just before you die and you're like, and that's whiskey.
That's what it is.
And you don't get the good bit. You just get the dead. That's why I always thought it tasted like.
Okay.
But now I've come around. I think it's pretty good.
That's hilarious.
That is a long-ass winded way to say it's a nice drink. All right, so what do you give it? What do you give it?
I'm ignorant to this. I'd say a 3.7.
3.7. Okay.
Out of 4?
Out of 5.
5.
Out of 5.
Out of 5. You want to go next, Holly? Or no? You know what? Let's leave you for last.
Okay.
You close it out. I'll go next. This is very nice a whiskey. I like my single malts very much, but I like the blended whiskeys because I enjoy Johnny Walker Black Label in particular. I thought
Me too.
And Blue Label, I just love that. But you know, I'm not dropping $180 on a bottle of freaking whiskey every whatever. My birthday's coming up in January, so anybody feel free. Okay. But other than that, I thought this was very smooth, very easy to drink. I had it with the ice cube. It's nice and mellow, easy to drink. And like I said, I kind of polished off the bottle here, and I can actually understand myself while I'm speaking, so it's not a bad thing. I give this a 4.0 as well. I think this is a very nice Scotch.
All right.
Holly, what do you say?
Well, I always give Dewar's a 5 because Dewar's is the first, other than wine or beer, it's the first like alcohol I ever had. It is my dad's drink of choice. My dad used to pour himself like a shot of Dewar's on 2 rocks, and my dad was a high school principal, and him and his vice principal used to watch like the Mike Tyson fight or Larry Holmes.
Sure.
Or whoever. I remember my dad, no, not Ali. I wasn't that old. I was not that young. I remember my dad used to watch boxing, and he would because he was an amateur boxer and he was young, and he would get up. And so when he was boxing, I would take myself a little sip because he was already a couple glasses in. He didn't know. Nice for me to taste. So like when I tasted Dewar's as an adult, all of a sudden I was like, my childhood.
Nostalgia, yes.
Nostalgia. This is my daddy's drink. I love Dewar's. I love it.
Okay. So 5.0.
5.
Excellent. All right.
Is that the first 5.0 on the podcast?
First 5.0 on the podcast. But you know what? To be fair, Holly's a 5.0 kind of guest.
This is
honestly.
true.
Thank you. Honestly.
Look at her. She even having like a... Is she catching the vapors? It's just lovely. All right.
Look at me catching the vapors. He said the vapors. Like you Big Daddy Kane and shit. He said the vapors.
Not the Big Daddy Kane. No, that's Mr. Key. Holly, come on, man. Oh, man.
He said vapors too. He would talk about vapors. I mean, I know that was his song, but I got it. Rest in peace, right? Rest in peace, right? Okay.
Who?
No, like rest in peace. Holly's cool. Holly's cool. Is rest in peace.
Okay.
You ain't cool no more, goddamn. You said the wrong shit. Bye.
No. You're good. All right. So then let's conclude with what's going on here with all these Broadway closings and movie delays and all this stuff. What do we think is going on, and where do we think it's going from here? Holly, you wanna lead us in on this one since you're the guest?
I think it all depends on leadership. If we get new leadership, we're going to be out of this in a year. If we don't get new leadership, it's another 3 more years. That's what I say.
Okay, fair enough. Andrew?
I don't know what it means or where we go from here. I know as someone who loves cinema, who loves going to the movies, that I'm nervous about it and I'm sad about it. Whatever it will take, I do hope that, we get to a place where we're able to just go to the movies like we used to. Because to me, that's one of the best things in the world. And for me personally, one of the most important things. So yeah, I really hope we get back to that, things like Disney moving a lot of their things to streaming and stuff like that. That bothers me and that's concerning too. Because, I love to sit home and watch something on Netflix. I really do, but that doesn't come anywhere close to going to the movies and watching something. So, you know, I hope it is, you know, Bond, all these movies that are getting delayed. I hope that whatever dates they're now delaying them to, we can sit in the movies and watch them when the time comes and they're in a packed theater, you know, and have that full audience experience. You know, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I'm nervous about the future, but I'm trying to stay optimistic, and I hope that we can all sit down in a theater and enjoy a movie again someday. For the record, I did travel to New Jersey to see Tenet. Sean, Tomo, you guys know this, that Chris Nolan is one of my favorite directors, so I had to see Tenet. So I did do that. And, you know, it was great. I mean, the movie's great. It's the most confusing movie he's ever made, so I need to see it again to figure out what the fuck's going on. But as far as like the theater going experience, you know, the way they've got it set up now, you know, your seats are socially distant. So if I pick, you know, Gabby and I went, so we had our 2 seats here, and they set it up so that the 2 in front of us, the 2 behind us, and 1 on each side, nobody can sit there. So we're, you know, that feels good, and you have to wear your mask the whole time. And hey, the showing we were in, I can't speak for every movie theater and every showing that's been going on, but the showing we were in was super great. Everyone was quiet. Everyone was respectful. Everyone had their mask on. No one took it off. And it was just great to be back there and to see the movie. And, you know, I appreciated everyone's kind of sensitivity to what's going on. So I think if you can have a screening like that, and this was more than 2 weeks ago, I didn't catch the COVID, I'm doing good. I think it's something that we should try and get back to as we're slowly getting back to other things. But
where did you see it? Where did you go?
I went to is it Clifton? There's a theater in Clifton.
AMC Clifton, Route 3. Yep.
With the IMAX.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Saw it in the IMAX there.
I gotta go to New Jersey.
Yeah. Gabby and I drove out there and just did it for the day, and it was great because I was like, I'm talking about it now, and you guys know how much I love the movies and everything. So I was like, I gotta go and support it. I'll take this chance, strap on my mask, and go.
I thought, okay. I thought we were going to pivot all of a sudden. I'm sorry, my bad.
It's too late for that kind of pivot. It's too late for that kind of pivot.
Tomo's a whole bottle of Dewar's in, so I should have picked my words more carefully.
I had one freaking shot, and I had one shot.
He is like, he's like, yeah, I'm fine. He is like the uncle that's like fine until he just puts his hand through the wall. And then you're like, he was like, I was just trying to lean on the wall. Tomo's
that uncle in romantic comedies where he's like, let me show you real life, kid. Let me show you real life, goddammit. Take you to a titty bar, play spades. Craps, all that shit.
This is true. Sean, you wanna? Let me go. Because Sean apparently just had whiskey, so he's kind of drunk. So let me go first and say, I will say this much. I think, and this is my scientist brain running a million miles an hour. I think a lot of what's going on, and much to Holly's point, correctly, leadership sucks ass, because I feel that if testing was established often and frequent, life could more or less go back to normal. Because if everywhere you went, somebody tested you and there was a rapid test where because let's face it, if you went to a movie and you had to wait 15 minutes for a test, so you had to get there half an hour early to get your test to go into the movie theater. And then they still did, like Andrew, you said, with the seats in front of you, seats behind you, seats to the side. And then they do the test, and nobody going in has it. Everybody's fever clear. Okay, let's carry on with life a little bit. But again, there's no leadership. There's no imagination, because these people can't think of anything besides fucking porn stars and making money, which they don't, because they owe $400 million. I don't know who they are, but I think
who do you owe?
Yeah, exactly. Who do you owe? So I think Tyler Perry actually sets up, and I think it's not being talked about enough. Tyler Perry sets up basically the perfect example. And the NBA just did the perfect example. So look at this bubble. These guys did it. Nobody tested positive. They did the whole fucking finals and everything was fine. So it's possible, it's doable, but people just don't want to do it for whatever freaking reason. And to me,
money.
Right, it's stupid. It's like you're going to make more money if you implement all these things and things carry on. But no one can think further than the size of their dicks, obviously, and their dicks are only like a half-inch long, so they can't think very far. So that being said, I'm hoping that by and having full disclosure, my wife worked for Regeneron for years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In fact, she was the lead medical writer for Regeneron.
Okay.
And I've heard some other information from Regeneron. So some of the testing and the vaccines and the treatments and all of that stuff should be okay to go. And I remember saying this to somebody, halfway through next year, things should start veering towards normal. Okay. And not because of anything that happens, because, I mean, I fervently hope that Biden is inaugurated at the end of January. But even when he gets in, you just have bureaucracy and you have...
And bullshit.
Just, there's so much of just megalith that needs to get moved. It's like that piece of furniture that's stuck in mud, and it's going to take a while for shit to happen. So... best case scenario, August next year, September next year, things start getting back to normal. That's what I think. That's my 2 cents. Sean? Aliens? Who is it?
I think it's a Democratic conspiracy to set up sex schools. Fueled by goddamn liberal robots and drones, and the motherfucking Russians are gonna save us, because we got the Russians now. The Russians are the good guys, and they're the real Americans, because the rest of the Americans ain't even real Americans anymore. I don't even know.
Merkins.
I'm a Russian now, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. That's what I think. I think it's a mess in England. This is the weird thing with all this. Like, it's very American-centric, obviously, because not only are we obviously in America, and you guys are all American, but this is literally the epicenter of the whole fucking situation of the world, which makes sense because America is the epicenter of everything. They love to make themselves the epicenter of everything. And congratulations, guys, you did it. you really did it. The fucking atomic bomb has dropped, and you are the epicenter of everything you always wanted to be.
You did it too. You're here. You're one of us now.
But yeah, Britain's fucked as well. Like, we're just like it's like exactly the same, just slightly smaller and more polite. But it's just exactly the same.
So
like,
what he's saying is sex is lousy, is what he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's the same. So Britain's, sort of the same. They don't know what they're doing, except because the polite thing, we spent way too long not forcing people to wear masks, because basically the leaders are just like, well, you probably should wear a mask, but of course I can't make you because I wouldn't want to do that. So I think maybe if you think you should, then you should, and if you think you shouldn't, then maybe don't. But we'll see what happens. Just get on with it. That is really what happens.
And I'm thinking, I don't know why they just don't pretend they're black. People always can tell us what to do. Like, that's never been a fucking problem. Like, just pretend. Sorry.
We tried, Holly. We tried Vanilla Ice, Eminem. We tried, and
I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with these people with the mad shit. Like, I don't know why they just don't fucking use the method. Use the method.
I don't see what the problem is.
Some method acting on that shit.
All right. So there you go, folks. I hope that clarified everything for everybody. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we want to give an extra special thanks to the lovely Miss Hollie Harper.
Thank you so much. For you guys are funny as shit.
Thank you for
You're funny. You're funny as shit.
That's so funny. I'm looking at Andrew's fridge. I'm like, I just want you to open your fridge and bring some food.
Why? Don't make fun of my fridge.
I'm making fun of your fridge.
It's my home. You making fun of my home?
I'm not making fun of your home. I'm looking at your fridge. It's making me hungry.
Oh,
because I know there's something in that fucking fridge.
There isn't. I mean,
like I'm looking at.
You've got the perfect ratio of distance between the microwave and the fridge as well. Like there's the energy level is like
it's right
bang,
there.
bang,
look at that.
bang,
It is.
bang.
It's right there. But isn't that's old school? That's very old school. How you have that's very 80s old school with the fridge.
I'll tell you what. You want to talk about ratios? This is a studio apartment, so everything is close. Not just the fridge and the microwave, but the living room is there. I'm sitting at the kitchen table. The kitchen is here, and my bedroom is right there. That's it. That's the whole place.
I've been in Andrew's studio apartment.
I like this setup though, brother. Like you doing it. It looks nice.
It's good. It's good.
It's nice.
It is good.
I mean, anyone can see it. Watch either of my short films, both of which were filmed in this here studio apartment, and you get an idea what it's like up in here.
And in fact, recently got selected to a bunch of film festivals. So.
Congratulations!
Cheers, Andrew.
Yeah,
it's pretty hot.
Anyone who's listening to this, depending on when you're listening to it, it's still the month of October. Move On, my short film, is available on the Direct Monthly Online Film Festival, DMOFF.com or DMOFFestival.com, something like that. Just Google DMOFF, you'll find it. Move On is on there. And if anyone is in the greater Boston area, October, what's next Sunday?
Next Sunday
is
October 25th.
The day of our Lord.
It's the 25th.
October 25th, Move On will be screening at the Screaming Ostrich Film Festival, just outside of Boston, Massachusetts, which I'm very excited for because it's the first in-person screening. So I'm gonna go and see that. So that's exciting.
Excellent.
Thanks for letting me shamelessly plug that.
No, absolutely. So, all right, folks. So there you go. You got a lot of information. Go have some Dewar's Scotch whiskey. Which
Tomo ain't got no more Dewar's left.
I got nothing. Let me tell you, I lost all this weight, and I thought, no, it's just I'm sad. I don't eat pizza, so I have to drink now. So that's what's happening with me. Yeah.
I'll drink my pie, thank you.
Yeah, you're doing the opposite thing. I was confused. I saw you the other day, and I was like, you lost a lot of weight, and I'm like, I did the opposite of that thing. Like,
I said the same thing. When I saw him and he was dropping off the scotch. I was like, "Shit, you look great, man." I mean, Tomo, you've looked. I remember one time seeing you a couple years ago and like doing a double take to recognize you because you used to like shave your head or something, and so that was it. But I don't know, man. I saw you the other day and I was like, "Shit, like the push-ups I'm doing in quarantine are not enough."
Tomo looks great because I've been doing a CrossFit this whole time too, and I see you. Like I see you, like all of a sudden it's like melting. I'm like,
thank you.
What's coming through?
Thank you. Like I said, all the parts are drooping. It's all melting. It's
I am cultivating mass just in case the
zombie apocalypse.
We're forced into another situation, and I am going to be at my peak mass so that my family can feed off me. My daughter and my
Genius.
wife. You will be the guy.
Poor Annie. She's going to be like, he's skin and bones. What are we going to do?
Why do you think she made me build a freaking garden vegetable bed so she could cage me in there so she could like tenderize my ass? That's why.
She gonna be brining your ass. You better be careful.
Totally. I'm like, a little more salt than this motherfucker.
You're like, why is my wife throwing salt water on me? What's going on? So rude. I was sleeping too.
All right, folks. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you all next time. Bye now.